Yeah. Yeah. Lanier presents. Lanier presents. Lanier presents. Lanier presents. Yeah. Lanier presents. Lanier presents. Hey everybody out there, welcome to another episode of Lanier Presents. I forgot what episode number this is because I make too many of them. But we got Chris Moses back in this bitch.
What up?
And then we got Shawn McArthur, one of the best out of New York right now. I've been dying to get this guy on here. So yeah. I wanted to start with you, Shawn. So like how did you get into drawing? Like what's your backstory, man? What's your superhero origin here?
All right, so my origin is very simple. I'm like 3 out of 7 kids, right? And my oldest brother, he draws. So everything that he drew, I was like, oh, I can do that. And he's like, yeah, show me. And ever since then, it's just been a tit for tat game. Mm-hmm. And then I just took it and ran with it. And pretty much that's what it was. It started from like Dragon Ball, Mega Man, Power Rangers, and just and went on from there. And then how I got into comics was always in the house. So yeah, pretty much was born in it. I think I was swaddled in it in like a page or two.
Yeah, I can believe that. The way that you draw, like just from the artwork that I've seen, and Chris can attest to it too in person. I don't know, like you just draw them so sharp, and your characters look so alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have very vivid colors, and it just really pops off the page.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's that would do it. I've been doing it. I've been pretty much manifesting it. I wanna start saying manifesting. Since I was maybe 7, 8 years old, VCR in the house, watching Spawn, breaking the VCR, trying to get like references and like just taking frame by frame the whole movie and drawing them and copying that over and over again.
An entire movie?
The entire movie.
Damn, so you'd be watching Jumanji and you'd be like
well, I would pause, rewind, like fast forward and so on and so forth. And then I would staple them
I was
together.
just eating cereal watching that shit. I did. You got me beat.
And I would give them to my friends for like maybe 50 cents or like maybe a Pokemon card, depending on what they wanted, what I wanted from them. And that's how I bartered that. And then I just found myself constantly drawing, got in trouble for drawing on a citywide test, so on and so forth. And then now I'm here, still getting in trouble for drawing at wrong times. Damn. And not always doing the right thing, but feeling like I'm doing the right thing by doing it. So, yeah.
Well, hey, that effort, it definitely paid off, man. So,
thank you.
So kudos to you. And of course we have Chris Moses here. Chris, how you doing, man? What's up?
I'm doing well, man. Just creating, bro. You know how it is. The grind never stops, dude. So we've been grinding.
Oh yeah, I know that. You got like several projects coming out soon. Anything you want to tell the people about anything?
Well, the next thing that we got coming out is my next Kickstarter, where we'll have the Saturn Effect Alphas 1 through 3, our newest issue, Alpha 3. And then our latest series, the Saturn Effect of Helena, and number 1. And if any listeners remember or hasn't read the SaturnEffect.com, our free 3 issues online, you'll remember or you'll be introduced to this character of Helena that is getting her own series. And yeah, man, I took a page from your book, dude, from the from scratch ways, and I sort of ran with it myself with Red Sea. So now we're just making books, dude, and we're putting out work.
Yeah, it's a nice little blueprint, ain't it?
Yeah, I mean, just believe in yourself and just put out what you want to put out.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Lanier. Like,
yeah,
you talking about it was like, oh, you had me beat, but man, you putting out books. Like how do you even find the time to like write one book, like several different books, or are you just doing piece by piece? How does that work for you? You know, and and then not only that, but you do videos, do you do music, like you're just I didn't know how well rounded you were until like I had to take a few steps back to see what exactly you was doing, and I'm like, damn, this motherfucker is dope. Like, but how does that work for you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, with with writing everything, like I don't know, I always just find time to write, even when I'm at work. I have like a little notebook, several notebooks that I just keep with me, and then I just like I got one for like B-sides, or I got one for this series or that series, and then I just write in little notes as the day goes on, and then certain ideas just come to me at random points of time. I don't know. I like to keep busy, so I like to work on one thing and this thing all at once because I like to keep a challenge for myself. I never like to stay in one particular world or set of characters for too long. I always like to bounce around and do this, that, and the third. And plus, like I don't know, I'm like hungry for the shit. Like I feel like creators,
Yeah,
like we're just hungry to just keep creating and stuff like that. And yeah, so like that stuff fuels me. And with the like doing videos and music and all that stuff too, I've been doing that since I was like doing the hip hop stuff. So when I was producing for artists, like I would have to produce a beat for that artist and this artist, and so you just learn how to multitask and do different things. And yeah, like I don't know, like I've just always been able to like be at the center of something and just be able to see what I need to add in this point or that point and stuff like that. So I just always like to keep myself busy.
all right, cool, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That sort of that mindset of just like trying to keep busy. I mean, there's just so many things to say. I mean, when you're a writer or just a creator, you obviously have things to say,
Hmm.
and the fact that you want to put it out there means you want people to see it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you got and it also takes a long time to get these books out. So, like, if you're somebody with a lot to say, and you got a lot of projects, you got to have you know things staggered, or you're going to be waiting a long time to be putting out those words. And by the time you put it out, you might have something else to say. So
Yeah.
it's
Right.
important to stay busy and to keep those things going and keep those thoughts being pushed out to the people, because it's also part of like in capturing how you felt at a certain time. And
Hmm.
it's important that, like, regardless of anything else, you're doing what you want to do and put it out there for yourself when you go back maybe 10 years, 20 years from now. You never know what something could be, or where you'll be, or what something can do for you just because you put in that time right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I totally understand keeping busy and keeping, as I was saying, the grind going, dude. You just gotta put out that work.
Yeah. And it's
That's
really
right.
cathartic too.
Definitely.
Because in the world we in today, everything's out of control. Like you don't know what's
Yeah,
gonna happen. Everything's just really unpredictable. And we see crazy shit online all the time. But when we work on these projects, and I know a lot of viewers out there can attest to this if you're creative, like when you create your own world, like you control it and you can measure what happens. And it just gives you a sense of power and a sense of I don't know, like it's just this fulfillment. Like, okay, I can control this. Like, if even if everything else is going to shit in my life, this right here, I can handle this, and I can make this work to my benefit, and I can give these characters real depth from drawing from my life or people's lives that I know. So,
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I also
yep.
think it's part of the poet in us, dude. I know you're a poet. I mean, I write some poetry. I don't know, Sean, have you ever dabbled in writing some
Yeah.
poetry? You seem like you got
I
it in you.
I said,
yeah,
yeah.
I write every day. I
Yeah.
write every day. Um, Whether it's to talk about how I feel from like yesterday, but mostly as of late, I've been really writing down what I'm really grateful for. So that also gives me time to remember and look back. I'm like, hey, well, remember when this happened? I'm grateful for that. I'm also like I'm awesome. I feel awesome for that, and or I made someone feel this way, and I write them all down so I can clear out my mind when I start drawing and it's not fluttered in me. Sometimes I'll write like funny lyrics to to dabble in, not for any usage, but to like practice telling stories. Like I will write a 16 bar lyric where it would be about nothing, but it like it's just to take the clutter out, get you warmed up. Also, I like writing scripts, so every now and then I'll sit down during lunch and I'll write a script or two, or like a little story. But what I also do is draw in a sketchbook to I guess to draw out the thumbnails before I even write it, because I can only see it before I write it sometimes, and for me to put it in words is always a little difficult for me when I'm writing scripts, so I draw them out first.
So Shawn, I know a lot of people will probably ask you who's your favorite artist since you're a drawer, but I want to ask who's your favorite writer? Like who are some writers that they make these stories and it inspires you to hone your writing skills?
Oh, I got plenty of. I would have to say, wow. All right. If I had to pick one writer, jeez. I'm sorry. I'm having you hang on in the thread.
I know this is a good time for me to plug to plug my sponsorship.
Stephen King.
Stephen
I like his work too sometimes. Or who is also a good writer? Believe it or not, Will Smith is a good writer. Even though he's with a team, but like how he depicts, like even Remender.
Yeah, Rick Remender's definitely on my top three.
Chris Claremont.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. A little bit. I love Watchmen, so yeah, I guess.
My favorite is actually Mark Miller.
I can see that.
Mark Miller is my absolute favorite. I mean, he's like idol for me, dude. Absolute idol, dude.
I gotta throw in Mike Mignola too.
Yes,
he's a really good. Yeah. He's a very good writer. I mean, he's an even better artist. But the way that he can weave all this world's mythology and supernatural shit like together, like he's a really talented writer.
Yeah, I love Hellboy. Yeah, Mike Mignola is super nuts.
Love his stuff.
So to flip that question, I guess back to you, and then sort of switch it around, who would be your favorite artist, Lanier?
I mean, I really enjoyed what Joe Bennett did on Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
What he was able to capture for that story just was amazing. I love Yusuke Morata for One Punch Man. I think the way that he draws his characters in such detail is just phenomenal.
Word.
I do love Oda, like a Chihiro Oda.
Yeah.
It can be a little too cartoony sometimes.
I love his style. Man, his line work is amazing. I think it's very fun. It's not too serious, but it can get serious, and it just shows like the lightheartedness of everything. It gives me a break from all the serious stuff that I have to either look at or I have to draw myself. It just kind of keeps me right at that nice medium.
What about you, Chris?
I would say for me it would be like Matteo Scalera, Greg Capullo, and like Clayman would be like my top three. and I would do anything to work with with either any of those three people.
Anything, Chris?
I mean, not anything. I mean, not anything. But like, you know, all right, buddy. You know what I meant, dude.
The Illuminati's gonna call your phone after this and be like,
all right,
Mr. Moses.
Well,
okay, buddy.
you did say anything.
all right.
You did say.
True. I mean, if the book would be so fucking dope though, and you'd make so much bread selling the book, it wouldn't even really matter, would it? So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, like you are a talented creator, so there's no way that you would like. There's no way that they would never hit your radar, or you would never hit their radar. You know, like reading your books and enjoying it and looking at the art for it. I was just like, yo, all right, this guy got something.
Yeah, shout out to your guy, Frank.
Yeah, Francesco Mazzoli. Shout outs to the whole team, dude. Francesco Mazzoli, Marco D'Alessandro, and then Christian Wolf on Soma City, and Ilaria Fella on the colors, and then Reed doing all the lettering. I mean,
Christian Wolf, my favorite so far.
Oh yeah, Christian is dope. He's actually the artist on Helena as well. So
okay.
So if you love the Saturn Effect and you love Soma City's art, I mean, get ready. About to be. And Marco does the coloring for that book too, so it's about to be a really nice little Red Sea crossover event that we'll have going on.
Okay. Yeah, I love them crossover. I'm working on one myself. But Shawn, what comics are you working on? Like, are you working on a comic? Like, I never.
Yeah, I am. So I'm working on my second issue of Home and Worlds Beyond from Divided District Studios, which is a company that my fiance and I started 2 years ago. And yeah, right now we just a couple of months ago we just landed our Kickstarter. We had the package deal of all 4 titles from Divided District Studios into one, doing the 2021 sampler, and we were paid in full within 25 hours. And yeah, so we're still sending those books out. Home and Worlds was supposed to come out in October, but I had a talk with Edwin Wong and over New York Comic Con, and he told me about these things I need to look out for. So I said, you know what? I'd rather have them wait than to give them something that I wouldn't want to take myself. So yeah.
So this next question is actually for the both of y'all, because y'all both are really into Kickstarters and stuff. I don't do the Kickstarter thing. I don't know, man.
I know, which is weird because
so like I want to know, like, how do y'all like it? How do you know, like, talk to me here? Like, what's the pros and the cons of that? Let's start with you, Chris, actually, because Chris, you've done a lot of them.
I would say it's all pros, dude. I would say, I mean, it's actually a lot of from what I've been seeing from stat wise, creators make a lot of their money from these Kickstarters and things like that, and like having these sort of, I guess, places for your marketing funnel to go down towards. And it's always nice to have a store, but and people will, hit your store periodically, but this gives like a solid amount, like window where you'll start to really churn out your your leads and actually start to get sort of paying customers and hopefully returning customers as well. So I think it's just it's an awesome platform. I mean, it extends your reach. It like forces you also to like be part of the community, right? You can't just think you can tweet into the void a few times and do a couple Instagram posts and think you're going to fund. You actually have to like talk to people. You have to put in the preparation. You actually have to like really try to like, it's not easy. It's not something to take lightly, and you should definitely not take for granted all of the people that do back you eventually and all of your supporters, because they really help you get there. But I would say for someone like a creator like you have a really big backlog, and you also have a lot of stuff that's already in print, and I'm sure you have some extra stock. So it's also really nice if you have, like, say you wanted to do, and this, I get in a general sense, say you won't have a volume that you want to do, You can really market it up as like a collector's edition, and then you'll have all of your different previous catalog as add-ons and things like that to really sort of boost up your amount of money that you get per donor, per backer. And it's a crucial part of the environment of the ecosystem, I think, and for like the actual career, to show that like, okay, you can manage something, you can crowdfund, you actually do have a following that you're growing. It tests your own marketing skills, it tests your team building skills. So I mean, I'm a big fan of Kickstarter or any sort of platform. Indiegogo works, and I know there's other sites. This isn't like a sponsor or anything. I don't really know too much about them, but I've seen like the website or the company Dauntless Stories, I believe they're called, and they run their own sort of crowdfunding type events on their website. So there's a lot of different types of things that you can do to gather money, but just the idea of crowdfunding, it doesn't necessarily have to be Kickstarter, I think is very important for, and it's only good things if you can, crack the formula and do it right.
I just I don't know, but I should do it again. The first time I had a Kicks or a crowdfunding, it was like Indiegogo or something like that.
Okay.
And it was just because due to my inexperience with the shit, it just bombed. It was like, it just blew up in my face. And I was like, man, fuck. I was like, fuck Kickstarters, man, fuck crowdfunding. I don't want to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just on that wave. I was on my Tupac shit. I ain't gonna jack.
Block with the bandana on your head. And
I was like, dun, 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 dun. I had a Death Row shirt on. Like, I was not working. I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck Indiegogo. But hey, I was on my Kanye that day. But you know what? For 2022, we're gonna manifest good vibes.
Word, manifest.
And yeah, I'll throw my hat in the ring again, I'm sure.
Sometimes you gotta channel that. Jody would tell me, like, don't chase, it will come to you. You attract that, right? So in my head, I'm just like, namaste, money comes to me. Nah, I'ma stay, let the money come to me. And keep saying that in my head. And like anything good that's in your mind, it's gonna happen.
Shout out all the podcasters out there. It's just so many to name. We appreciate your platform so we can, talk and connect like we're doing now. Very integral part of all this ecosystem for sure. So for all you aspiring writers and artists out there, be proactive. I know I see a lot of y'all tweet who wants to interview me or whatever. No, go to them and talk to them personally. Don't just you gotta chase them because they got a lot going on. You gotta send a message and you gotta stand out, because that's what I do. I'm pretty sure that's what Chris does and Shawn. We message them. We don't wait for them to come to us, because shit, you're gonna be waiting all day.
Especially with just how many people have started to get into comics now and making indie books. I mean, 2021 was pretty crazy with the amount of new people, and it's already looking like 2022 is going to be pretty wild. With how many people are getting into it. And I still don't even think that we're even close to the peak of what comics will be in this new era. I mean, Platinum Age, Diamond Age, whatever the hell you want to call it. Whatever that is. I mean, the indie age really is what it is at the end of the day, and there's so many people that are just getting on that wave. So
I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, we're really like punk rockers, you know what I'm saying? Like the way that we all come into this, like, just either we're classically trained or not, we're just coming into this, all of us indie creators, and we're just like doing this, you know what I'm saying? Like it just seems so it just seems like a punk thing, like
it's very was it CBGBs?
Yeah.
It's just one big CBGB, and you're in there and you're next to perform, and everybody's like, it's just a great feeling to know that, like, we're and it's crazy because we're on the rise. And a friend of mine told me, he's like, listen, start pumping out these books now because COVID is shutting all the big ones out and we gotta do the thing. And I'm like, calm the fuck down. All right, let's get these books out. And now like when we finally get back into the swing of things, and I mean, I didn't expect like my second show to be New York Comic Con at all. Did not expect it. Agent told me like, yo, Shawn, you're up. Where? Javits. And I was holding my composure. I was at work. He was like, why are you not jumping for joy? I'm like, I'm at work right now. There's a bunch of old people going, you're gonna get a heart attack. I just want to let you know that I am extremely happy.
Picture Shawn in there like, let's fucking go, baby. Let's fucking go.
I'm in the bathroom, just like, let's go. The other nurses are looking at the door like, this boy needs his fiber, something.
The janitor was like, I'm just gonna come back later and clean.
Yeah, I don't know what he ate.
Hey Chris, what do you do for work? I don't think I ever asked you that.
I freelance write, and I do marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Marketing and freelance writing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. No wonder your Kickstarters be hitting so hard.
I'm trying, dude. We're trying to get there. This next one, I'm hoping is going to be the biggest one yet, and then the next one after that. Just gotta. It's always about that next one. I think you guys probably understand with like how that like creator high too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you too, Lanier. Like you get that especially when you're getting really close to a finished product or when it finally hits, and then the come down after that hit, and it's like, okay, how do I maintain that feeling of like, okay, I'm still making progress, and that's it, just make more stuff.
Yeah, I need another hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's exactly.
It definitely is. There's like I said, there's a lot of people about to join in on that, and we just got to make sure that we're putting out those things and putting out those books, and it'll all pay off in the end, I'm sure.
Translation, Chris is basically saying, for all you people that's just coming in, we've been on top.
Exactly.
Things, baby. Y'all need to pay homage to us. That's what Chris really saying, but he too humble. But I ain't.
Exactly.
So y'all better know.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is though, that people think it's easy, bro. They think it's easy. It's like, I'm just gonna write some shit, somebody's gonna draw it, and it's gonna come out perfect. And it's like, nah, it's not how that works.
Talk
bro.
that shit, Chris. Talk that shit.
It's not how it works. And you got. I mean, yeah, people can try and copy the blueprint, but we're books in, B. We got years on this shit. So
that's right.
You know what it is like. Right. Like people don't understand, like they think making comics is just making comics. You draw the boxes, you write the words, and ta-da. No, there's levels to this shit.
Especially if you're starting off indie, you gotta wear literally all the hats. I mean,
yeah,
the three of us can attest to that. I mean, not only are we all the writers, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do the marketing. We got to keep up with our websites. We got to make sure orders are getting to the people. You know what I'm saying? Promotion. We doing interviews. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much. It's a lot. And, like Chris was saying, a lot of people just try to come in here because they think they can make a quick buck. But it ain't even about the money. It's about who's really passionate enough to really, come out and tell their stories, and who's really creative. Like, man, it because I used to make films, so a lot of comic book making reminds me of films. Like in theory, we're all the directors, right? And then the artists we work with are the cinematographers, and then your characters are the cast, etc., etc. And it's just like that. It's just like this fine oiled machine, And man, like, if you want to learn how to do this, then watch the three of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll show you how to do it. But I mean, you can't do it as good as us. But
It takes practice, bro. I mean, that's the thing. You can't expect your first comic to be good. You can't expect your second comic to be good. You can't even expect your 10th one to be actually good. I mean, better than the last thing you made is the only thing you can expect. But in the grand scheme of things, it take like people put decades into this. I mean, so it takes time, and you know, and that's a lot of people don't know how much time it takes, and that's why it's like people don't know, like your first book, you might, especially if you come in as a writer, because Shawn is totally right on how intense the art is for a good comic book. I mean, to be a good comic book artist, you have to be like a good artist, period. There's no comic book it's just a good artist. You need to be good at everything. There's no part of your fundamentals that can be shaky, or your books aren't going to come out like you want them to come out. So people come in as writers and they're like, okay, I'm going to write this, I'm going to find this artist, they're going to draw all this crazy like superhero or this crazy sci-fi epic or something, like 10 issues in like 2 months. It's like, no, bro, you would be lucky if this guy gets like 10 pages in 2 months, dude. Like, like, because you also have to know the type of people that you're working with, and you have to, you know, people have lives, and even if they're like putting all their time into art and that's their main thing, they have to juggle all these other projects, because you can't live off of just drawing one page unless you work for Marvel or DC or something else. I mean,
you can't live off of them neither.
Yeah, I mean, basically, right. Unless you're getting like $1,000 a page. I mean, there's really no.
As a creator, it's very hard to get people on a certain mindset. I have people in this group who came in and left at the same time simply because they said, I want to do comics, but on the other side of that table, they're like, I don't know if it's for me. Like I'm so busy with doing this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, I'm waking up at 5 a.m, doing something that is way out of my element for 8 hours, coming back home, taking a shower from 5 all the way to 11:30. But as of late, it's been getting later, in which I love, because that's how I started. I used to go to bed at 1 a.m, wake up at 6:30, take a cab, go to work, and do that shit all over again until my next day off. And even then, I'm doing a 16-hour shift. Today is my day off, and I'm still working. Like I'm actually in the bed. I'm actually sitting in the bed so I can work on these pages and just crank them out. So at the end of the day, you gotta know the people that you're working with. You gotta know yourself. You gotta know what you want. You gotta expect little. And the only thing that you should expect, and I'm going to take this one from Chris, but I'm going to flip it. The only thing that you should expect is that you finish. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
Right. And I agree. You don't, a lot of people, like Chris was saying, like when they first start, they think that their first comic's going to be perfect, or this, that, and the third, or they want to make the next Watchmen or the next Akira or whatever the fuck. You know, like, you need to be, at least how I view things, like every project I put out is just another stepping stone to what my proposed magnum opus will be. Like I just be putting shit out just to experiment and try new things and new writing styles and stuff like that. You need to be open to try new things, and don't be too in your head about, oh, is this perfect or that perfect? Like I know some of my shit got grammatical errors and shit. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm trying to tell the story. I'm entertaining people. I'm inspiring them to do their thing. You know, like I'm living and I'm learning.
Right.
And that's just what life is. Like fuck being perfect. Like you know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Word, you gonna read this or not?
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like what we doing? Like fuck you mean? You know, I feel like I'm a New York nigga too. Like just like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck you mean? Like, yeah.
Fuck you mean? Oh my god. But yeah, Lanier and Chris, it's been a pleasure. I gotta get going because this guy is knocking on the door, and I already have my legs crossed, you know, and now I have to get up. You know how like you cross your legs and you just sit down in a certain position? That's the age, man. There we go. Can't do that no more.
Yeah, it's coming for you, Chris. 26.
Like Jaws.
26 is already pretty old, man. I mean, it's not like I'm 18, 19.
Nah, but you still got the spark of the 20s. You're 26? What? You still got that spark. You're gonna be doing even more. But yeah, let me not hold you guys. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you for joining us, Shawn. Shawn McArthur, people, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, y'all. If you will. All right, I'll see you.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Peace.
So
Great
just you
guy.
and me, Lanier. Yeah, great guy. I love
I
Shawn.
fuck with Shawn a lot, man.
Yeah, Sean's cool. Sean and I've got to meet Sean in person at New York Comic Con, so that was really dope. He's a cool guy. Did a
Yeah,
cool
how was
commission
that
for me.
experience for you, Chris? That was your
Comic
first
Con was
Comic-Con, right?
it was so I've been to Comic Con as a as a visitor, as just a fan before, and I've been maybe 2 or 3 times in that capacity, and so this was the first time as a creator, and it was awesome, dude. I mean, it's something that it's the next part of the journey, it's the next phase. I mean, you gotta I was talking about how you make a lot of your money on Kickstarter, where that's the other place where you make a lot of your money is conventions. So it's another part of the puzzle when anyone that's like listening, that's like, okay, I do want to make this comic book. I do want to be, I mean, it's a lot of different pieces that you need to put together, and a big part of that. And it's one that a lot of us indies that have started in this sort of COVID or pre-COVID age and didn't really get a chance to sort of do the conventions in 2020 or even 2021. It's like a huge component that you need to sort of venture into and sort of build your different skill sets or use the different skill sets that you may have. Right. I know you're a salesman at heart, Lanier, so I know you're a hustler, so same with me. So I mean, when you're there, it's like you can't expect people to just come up to you, and I mean it'll happen, but very, very rarely will somebody just come up to you and be like, yo, I want to buy this book. So you gotta be out there. You gotta pull people over there. It's like, hey, you like books, you like comic books, what do you like? You like sci-fi, you like, and you're trying to put it in their hands and like let the work speak for themselves, and then like bring them to your table and start to have your elevator pitches down, and then sell your stuff and sell yourself. And and these are people skills that not everyone has, and something even I need to get better at. But luckily I'm not the worst with people, so it's an important part of the journey, and it's one that will become a bigger part of everyone's, but hopefully yours and hopefully mine as well. Hopefully we'll have a show that we could go to together and table out.
Yeah, for sure. I want to do that next year, actually.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I'm down.
I want to do that next year.
I'm down. I mean, it'll be a fun time.
I can't wait. I haven't been to the Comic Cons yet. I've never been to one ever yet.
I think you'll do really well, dude. I think you'll have a good time.
Hopefully I get this table at Anime Milwaukee. They said that they just had so many applications, so they're just trying to weed out like who's gonna get it. But oh god, I hope I get a table. Regardless if I do or don't, I still got the one at Heroes Con in June. So
nice. That's dope. That's gonna be a big one. I mean, that's one of the bigger ones too, right? I mean,
that's what I heard.
I think that's one. I don't know. I don't want to put in like a top 5 or top 10, but I'd probably put it somewhere in that top 10 of like big cons. There's not really many bigger than it, other than maybe like New York, San Diego, and like some things like that. So I think it'll be a big one for you, dude. I'm excited for you.
Man, it's gonna be so great. I'm so ready.
Yeah.
Chris, man. And then I got the Shrivel prints coming. I mean, I already got, as you guys can see, the B-sides.
Very nice.
Fun fact, my mom, she did the painting. So like I was looking on her wall. I'm like, hey mom, like let me use your painting for like a cover or something like that. So that was big for me, like putting my mom on the stage, you know what I'm saying? So
you really are on your Kanye right now, bro.
Yeah. Oh shit.
You really on your Kanye. Goddamn.
Damn. I'm gonna have a comic called Carolyn.
Shit. Damn, that'd be dope.
Oh wow, yeah, I guess I am.
Bless your mom, bro.
Bless you, Carolyn Watson, for giving birth to me. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
The greatest gift you could have gave the world.
But yeah, if we're shilling books, dude, I mean, I got my latest book, TC Alpha and Soma City, coming out. You can grab some physical copies on the Kickstarter coming this month. This month. This will be an add-on. This is one of the books that we're featuring. And yeah, dude, we got some great artists, some really a lot of talent. You can get some of our backup issues, our previous catalog, Alpha 1. This is a deluxe cover, and we also got Alpha 2 right here. So we got books. So we got books for everyone to, and yeah.
I rock with that Soma City. That was
Soma.
That's my favorite work of yours so far.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, dude. I mean, I'm happy that you enjoyed the work. I think Soma City is one of my favorite things that I've written. It was something that I got to make with Christian Wolf. someone I met on Twitch.tv. I just met him. I saw him streaming one day, and he was drawing this really sick Dungeons and Dragons commission, and I was like, dude, that's absolutely insane. And we just talked. He saw that I was making. He asked me what I did. And I was like, I make comic books. He saw TSC, and we just became friends. And we talked for a while before we even started working on a book. And he one day after, you know, I'd be bugging him and be like, yo, dude, we should make a book. And he was like, yeah, whatever. And it's just like how Shawn was saying, that it's like you really, especially as an artist, because you're putting in so much actual man labor into it, you really have to be specific. And this is not to say you shouldn't be specific as a writer, because you really should be also, because just of how much commitment needs to be put in to make a comic book. So you need to make sure, if you're the one that has to put, if you're the artist, you need to make sure you can trust the writer. It's someone that you really want to put that commitment in for, or they're paying you enough that, like, okay, that they've bought your commitment. Or if you're a writer, you have to really make sure that whoever you're working, that you're hiring, that you're giving money to, that's selling their service is like is actually going to get the work done. Otherwise, you may be in a situation where you have half a book that took way longer than expected and an artist that doesn't want to draw anymore for you. Then these are things that you can't really avoid, even if you're doing your best. But these, like, so you have to, these things just happen, but it's just a reality that you have to be aware of, and that you have to be, you know, keep an open eye on who you're working with.
Me and Chris can attest to that, because we've had projects where we've had to like pick up a different artist midway through, or completely scrap things for now. It's been wild. It's wild out here, bro. Like,
it's tough.
As I'm thinking about it, as you saying it, I'm like, damn, we be doing a lot of like just fielding around, like, bro.
You gotta have to. And so, like I said, with Christian Wolf, I mean, we vetted. I mean, I'm vetting him, he's vetting me, basically. But it's also, you're building a friendship, because it's like someone that you're putting in a lot of hours with. Soma City took 7 months for us to basically make the whole thing. That's like almost the whole. That's more than like half a year. So it's a lot of time just for one issue.
That's a whole pregnancy.
That's all, but yeah, I mean, a preemie, but yeah. but like, I mean, I feel you. So like, I mean, that baby's still probably gonna live, hopefully. So
Chris be calling Christian Wolf like, hey, are you okay, man? Like, you need any ice cream or anything?
I mean, the thing is, you got to make sure you're treating your artist right, man.
This is true.
You can't be treating your artist like shit. It's just not gonna work, especially as a writer. You need to. These are people. They're doing the most that they can with their skills for you as a writer, so you have to be very respectful of that and their time, and appreciative of that. And you know, if you're not, then this isn't the business for you, dude. So, but yeah, I mean, it took a long time to make the book, but we did it. And you know, I wrote it for him. I was like, dude, this is like, I want to work with you, and I wrote him the book. So like, and I do that for actually a lot of my artists. I write them the books. I just find an artist that I really like. I have an idea, sort of, you know, we have multiple ideas, you have multiple ideas, and then it's like, okay, this one I think will vibe with him. I'm going to write this for this artist. And that's how that's just one of the things that you'll learn, is if you're like starting to, anyone listening that's starting to get into it, you mean, you want to make sure that your artist really vibes with your project. That doesn't mean you have to write everything for them, but like, don't find somebody that does sick like black and white stuff, and that's like fantasy, and then you're like, I want you to draw something that I'm gonna get colored, and it's actually like for children, and it's like, you know, like it's some like real life shit. It's like, it's not gonna work, dude. You gotta be and it's all about team building. And so, to be
fair, some artists do like the challenge, though. They like
some artists
step outside their box and be like, you know, let me try something new. So let's not just say that, you know, some people do like to switch things up.
Definitely. And that's something that's all about the relation building, and like talking to the people that you're working with and collaborating with, and not just being like, okay, draw this and do this. I mean, you're listening to them and they're like, okay, I am open to doing other things. It's like, I've only drawn fantasy and I want to draw some slice of life, you know, something. It's like, yeah, for sure. But generally you want to make sure that it's just to make sure they're interested in whatever you're making, because it's a lot of time commitment. But yeah,
and develop your own style. You know, a lot of people, they're like, oh, we got to do it like this way. I got to write the script like this. If y'all was to see how I write my scripts, it's so simple. Like, I just be like, yeah, I write it. It's because it's easier for me to convey to the artist exactly what they need to know. Like, it don't need to be no damn novel. and then I do the storyboards all myself too. So like, boom, it's as pure as it can be. So make sure you develop your style for how you tell your story, and it helps you work faster. I'm sure Chris has his cheats that he does when he writes his books and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest cheat is outlining, but yeah, but yeah. I make big story Bibles before I start writing anything now, and
I'm
that's the biggest
already
cheat
knowing
code.
how you do things.
Yeah, that's the biggest cheat code I could give somebody. If you do that, then you'll like before you get into the issue, you'll have your whole little toy box set up, and you can play your imagination games on the paper.
Hey Chris, I see you actually writing a novel in the future. Am I correct in assuming that?
I think we'll get back to it eventually. There was times when I wanted to write a novel, and but at the moment, I love the visualness of the medium, right? And like also like you, Lanier, I also am a filmmaker at heart as well. So, but comics is maybe a more cost-effective place and a more realistic place to have these bigger sort of stories.
For real, man.
And as long as you're respecting the comic book medium, you can really go far with it. Um, so I mean, eventually want to get do some novelage. I am an English major, so like I do fancy myself as
Oh,
somebody with
Chris, you
something.
forgot to fix your glasses when you
Oh
said
yeah, I am an English major. I did go to New York University. Definitely.
yes,
So
a prestigious establishment. Sir.
yeah, exactly. Where we yeah, what? Anyone that's gone to NYU knows how that school is. So yeah, but yeah, eventually we'll get to it. Eventually we'll get back to it. But for now, I'm really enjoy. I got a lot of work coming out, and I've been really loving, just doing the comic book thing. And
Yeah,
we actually, I have a new project that's in the works that will be hopefully
the
aiming
horror
for.
story, right?
No, that's another story that's almost done. Actually, that's
Okay.
just waiting for the right time to drop that. So we have a lot of backlog, but bringing on new artists, bringing on new talent, and making those connections and expanding the Red Sea brand, dude.
For
Because
real,
another
man.
important thing and that's why I think you'll do really well at Comic-Con is like the more titles you have is when you're doing like your sort of independent publisher, the more the wider your reach is. So you have a lot of titles with a lot of different diverse like leads, so you'll be able to pull a lot more people from that sea that's sort of washing by. And so that's an important thing for anyone that's not and this is more of a tip for somebody that's going wider with it. So Lanier and I are both doing our own independent publishers, so we have a lot of books, and this is where we house Lanier with From Scratch Comics and myself with Red Sea Comics, where we have a lot, like this is where we're housing all of our different projects and sort of building our brands. And so it's important, if you're going to go with that strategy, that you don't just focus on just like one artist and one sort of genre and one story, because then you need to expand. You need to be thinking a little bit wider than that, because when you actually go to these conventions and you're trying to sell these things, you won't be able to reach as many people if you only have one product to sell.
Yeah.
And that's important to remember, because there's multiple different things that a consumer is looking for in a comic book or something that they're going to buy when they're walking through these artist alleys. I mean, most of them aren't even looking for comic books. So if you're really trying to get somebody that's like wants a comic book, they need to either identify with it, or they need to really be grasped by the art, or they need to really, really fuck with the concept and the story or the characters. And the wider you go with your stories, and the more diverse your sort of the styles that you're playing with, and the better return you'll have at these sort of convention places, when you're trying to just get as many people towards your table as possible, and getting them to buy as many books as you can put in their hands.
In summation, you want to build a really deep catalog.
Yeah.
You want to have this, that, or at least that's how me and Chris view it. We want to make a very big catalog, because like the biggest moneymaker in this industry, from what I've been seeing, is reprints. Think about it. In in any industry, they reprint an old material. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be with albums. New, it's on vinyl, such and such, whatever. That artist, they recorded that like 50 some years ago. They got so much catalog. The catalog is integral to any industry. You want to have a catalog, just hammer it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you can reprint that, remaster it, resell it in this format or that format. So many things you could do if you have that catalog. Hey,
to
Chris, what's a
make that.
genre that you haven't touched yet that you're like, you know what, I want to do that one next? Because you do a lot of sci-fi and
Yeah.
yeah, well, mostly your stories are very sci-fi tinged. Would you be doing like a romance book or a humor book or something like that in the future?
So that's actually a good question. I actually do want to venture a little bit more into. I'd say romance may be one of my weak points as a writer, and so that's definitely something I want to build up on a little bit more. So we could definitely expect to see some more out there genres. I do love sci-fi. I feel like we live in the future. You know what I mean? Like we like in the sense that like everything is sort of sci-fi now. I mean, we have these iPhones. I mean, you and I are talking over hundreds of miles on on the internet. I mean, like the world. I mean, we just had like a pandemic or still in the midst of it. That's we don't need to get into the details of it, but according to some details, could be pretty sci-fi. So we live in this sciencey sort of. I mean, UFOs are real. Like how much more sci-fi can the world really get? I mean, everything is sort of sci-fi. Sort of is basically what I'm saying. And
Chris
so,
Moses, ladies and gentlemen.
so like it's hard for me to not to when I'm thinking of a world or thinking of a premise. It's one of the ways that I think like you can really sort of um play with the different storytelling conventions and make your world a little bit more interesting. Um, or and by putting things in the future, you can like build richer backstories for the past. You know how this is. I mean, you sign
Yeah,
up for
you just
my
really like.
writing Patreon if you
Yeah,
want
you
more
just really
tips on
like.
story
You
building.
just really like sci-fi because it has so
I do
many.
really like sci-fi.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say most of the like other than TSE and one of my newer projects, everything is sort of like sci-fi plus another thing. So the
Mm-hmm.
or sci-fi, maybe a little sci-fi tinge, but they're more
Like Soma
another
City, it
genre.
had more of a noir feel, but I mean, it
Right,
was still
right.
very. Of course, it is like a sci-fi because they're inside of a. Well, I don't
But
know.
yeah,
Are they inside of a body or something, or is it just a cell?
well, you know what? I mean, I guess that's up for you to interpret, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
in
I was
Soma
reading it,
City,
I'm like, it doesn't explicitly say that they're
mm,
inside someone's body, but I was like, where
right.
are they?
Right. It's they're all microorganisms. So everybody in Soma City is an anthropomorphized microbe. Think like something between Black Sad and Osmosis Jones. So whether or not they're actually in a body or if it is just a metaphor for like Soma City is just a metaphor for a human body, I guess that's up to the reader's interpretation
Yeah, I
of the
like that,
story.
but I like that the city was like this living, breathing like
Right.
organism, and these characters just react to that. I was like,
Right.
oh, that's really interesting. I'm like, I hope Chris really does something crazy with this concept because it's pretty dark, like oof.
Yeah, there's a lot to be done with it. I mean, Soma City's got a lot of different genres, a lot of different themes running through it. I mean, we talk about comedy, but and I don't have a specific comedy, but you would be like you can't read Soma City and not sort of laugh a few times because there's definitely humor in even if it's maybe a little bit darker. So
Yeah, even in the
uh,
way that they talk to each other, it's just like
right, right. So it's Soma City is well. There's more to come with Soma, and
okay.
Soma is definitely an of the time piece. I mean, our main character is a contact tracer, and it's he's in a city where they're transitioning to a new mayor. So if you're in an election, a post-election sort of year, there's those sort of connections. But there's also, I mean, if you're specifically a New Yorker, we are in the elections of a new mayor right now. Um,
Oh, okay.
so it's Soma City's got a lot of moving parts. So well, there's more to come. Soma's actually one of 6, so expect a few more issues to be on the way. Hopefully, we'll be right on starting issue 2 sometime next year.
Mhm.
And we'll and
Yeah, I can't wait for
hopefully,
that.
yeah. I mean, and maybe we'll even go to Kickstarter for this one. Who knows?
Yeah, I really think someone deserves that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I personally really enjoyed it. It
I'm
reminded
glad
me
you enjoyed, man.
of Crime Capital, like my
Mm,
noir
yes.
series and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and Crime Capital is like another like even you do sort of genre bends too, because Crime Capital is a noir, but it's also like a superhero story. You know, it has a lot of more of those, maybe not superhero with superpowers, but it has a, you know, that sort of Batman sort of feel, that Daredevil-y feel, those sort of, you know, non-powered heroes that have these like you know, that have these skills and they're trying to do what they can for their city. So I think, you know, genre bending is something that is really an interesting thing to play with when you're a writer, and can really give you your own sort of flair and taste to your type of work. I mean, maybe that's just my style is sci-fi, you know.
I think it speaks to our generation too, because we just grew up with so many different influences, like we had the internet, so we just blend so many things in. Like my cousin, he's working on his first manga story right now, right? And he's got so many different influences and stuff in there. Shouts out to Donovan, by the way. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? It's my little cousin. His book is coming out next year. I can't wait for you guys to, you know, see it and read it. He works very hard. And yeah, I always keep him under my wing whenever I'm going this place or doing that thing. So it's good. Always nice to keep the family, you know, in with what you're doing too. But like I was saying, like, yeah, like with me and you as well, we just blend in so many different things because we be watching this, that, and the third, you know. So man,
yeah, definitely. And I actually wanted to say something before that. You said that the back catalog was one of the most valuable things and for a comic. I would actually say it's very valuable, but I would actually say the most important thing is the IP itself. The IP itself is actually probably the most important, most valuable thing that you could be creating. And that's something that to keep in mind as an indie creator. It's like your IP, once it's out there and once it's made, if it's people like it, it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
I would even say if your brand and your brand is even bigger, probably subverts that. Because I mean, Marvel, for instance, Marvel can put out anything. People will watch it just because it has Marvel.
Right.
Even though, you know, the Eternals didn't really prove that too well.
Right. I actually haven't seen the Eternals yet, but I did watch Dune, and I know you're a huge Dune fan. and my friend asked me how I felt about Dune, and I was like, you know, in a world where Star Wars sucks, Dune is a breath of fresh air.
Ain't that wild? Chris, I was thinking that the other day. Like, it's so wild. Like, the first movie, the first Dune movie comes out in the 80s, right? And Star Wars is just killing it.
Yeah.
People are like, man, fuck Dune. But now the tables have definitely turned, and people are like, Dune is just this high peak.
Yes.
And then Star Wars, the movies at least are just, oof.
Yeah, they're rough. But Dune did a great job of you know, combining the things that people do love about these spacefaring sort of movies and, like, you know, the politics of Game of Thrones. So that it's great, you know, great movie. And but it also just goes to show how important and how powerful an IP is. Plus, you know, a strong IP plus can transcend, you know, decades, regardless of how bad or good it is. But the thing that makes it solidify is that one story that you tell and with that IP that really makes it like shine bright. So, but yeah, I mean, you gotta make sure you're holding on to your IP, dude. IP is power.
This is true. You have the rights to your characters, but even then, you know, even if you're not too you know, gun ho about that, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
It is. But yeah, Chris, thank you, man, for stopping by. You know,
of course, man.
Peace to Shawn for coming on. I don't know how long this video's been going on for, but it's gonna be a lot. But I might have it up by today. I ain't got shit to do. Fuck it.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, dude. As always, it's always great to talk to you, dude.
Yeah, always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? You my nigga, man.
Yeah, bro, we need to have our own show, dude. We just need to start a new one, dude.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think we could probably get maybe you, myself, and maybe I will talk about it, bro. Maybe get a couple more people on it. We'll figure it out.
Shit. You know, I know you got your shit to do. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys out there for watching. You know, I'm gonna have the links to Shawn and Chris's stuff in the description and whatnot. But yeah, so it's been great.